to Breaking the Cycle with Dr. Simplian. Tonight is another episode, and we're going to have it conversational. We're going to go deep and talk a little bit about my book. A book I wrote out of pain, out of my journey in life. But let me start like this. This episode tonight is not just something I'm teaching, it's something I lived. When I wrote my book, My Mother's Choice, My Destiny, which is a memoir of my life, I didn't write it from theory. I wrote it from what I have lived. I wrote from collapse. You see, there was a season in my life where everything looked like it was working. I was showing up, I was leading, I was carrying, I was building. But deep down inside, I was tired. And not normal tired, deep tired. I was breaking in public, but kind of collapsing in private. And I didn't even recognize it at first because I've learned through years how to function while being overwhelmed. I was living a life constantly on the survival mode. I lived surviving. And I'm talking about not now in this season, but at least 20. Well, actually, we can say also from birth, but I'm talking about since I had sense and I was a woman living on my own, making decisions on my own. So, yeah, quite some years. But the problem is when we live, when we live in a long time, during a long period in survival mode, just surviving for a very long time, we don't even recognize it. You don't even realize that you're not living, that you are just basically just here surviving. You just become strong, responsible. And that was me. In a room, wherever I went, wherever I was the strong one, the responsible one, the one that holds everything together, the one that people look up to. And people called me powerful. But what they didn't see, they didn't know that I didn't know how to stop. By living in survival mode, I kept going constantly and never stopping. I didn't feel, I didn't know how to rest. I was living life by just managing, but not enjoying it until I collapsed. And then I start to feel the pressure of life, the more responsibility, the more expectation, the more weight. And what I built started to shake until God collapsed it. Until my life reached to a point that I couldn't no more. I was tired. And God started to reveal to me many stuff. And if you get my book, you can read a lot about it. My Mother's Choice, My Destiny. It's a journey of a broken beginning, but then eventually became restored and a commission now to go and heal. And that's the reason I'm doing many stuff in the community, including also this talk show on TV50. So after my collapse, God started to reveal to me that I was building, but I wasn't healed. Because what I built looked from the outside strong, but it was built on pressure. It was built on performance. It was built on unhealed places. Until a storm came in my life. And what a storm does, it changed your whole dynamics, it changed your whole mindset. So now let me bring it to you so you can understand where I'm going. I'm talking about a collapse that revealed me, a collapse that revealed, or rather, let me say it rather, collapse that should revealed you. When a storm comes, it's supposed to show who we are, what we are made of. So a collapse came into my life, and that collapse started to show me who I was. So now let me bring it to you, a storm, because this where many people miss it. And when I'm talking about a storm, I'm talking about problems. I'm talking about issues of life. I'm talking about situations that becomes a storm, like a hurricane in our life. And many people miss it because when you go through something, your focus, our focus is always on what is happening around us. But you don't pay attention to what is doing with your mind. We go through issues in life, we go through many problems in life, and we don't stop to realize on the emotions and what is doing to our minds. Storms will make us start to think differently. We start to question things. We start doubting ourselves. We start making decisions out of confusion with no direction. And it doesn't come loud, it comes quietly. We start to think about maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this thing happened to me because I did something wrong. Maybe I can't handle it. Maybe I won't make it. Problems in life, storms in life, when they come, they make us start to doubt even who we are. And mind you, I'm talking about a Anne that was so strong, showing up, people look up to, the one that make things happen, the one that knows how's a solution. And now suddenly, when problems came so heavy in my life, I collapsed. I started to doubt that maybe I'm not the person for this. And I know there's many people like that tonight listening to this talk show. So while we are experiencing storms, if we don't pay attention to our thoughts, what we're thinking, we start to believe or we start to build a new belief system, a belief system that makes us completely a complete different person. So problems in life now affect us emotionally. It affects our soul. It affects the way we think. It affected me, how I started to see myself, how I started to view myself, how I started to perceive myself, how I started to think about myself. So issues in life now affect our souls. It affect our emotions. Now our emotions will start to respond based on what we are feeling, that we are overwhelmed, anxious, we're frustrated, we feel heavy, and sometimes we can even verbalize what we are feeling based on what we are going through. Because it's not just what happened, it's what touched us inside, deep inside. Because things happen from the outside, the problems with, maybe the job, with a neighbor, with a friend, in your marriage, whatever it is, issues of life. But it will start to affect the emotions. And that's what most of us don't pay attention to. We don't pay attention how problems change the way we think and affect the way we feel. It affects our deep inner soul. It touch what is deep inside of you. So the storm, they don't just hit our life. It touch even the wounds that we have inside of us, deep in our soul. Wounds that we carry from young, wounds that we carry from a very long time. It start to touch those things based on what happened to us now. And when we are going through these problems, if we don't be mindful, it cripple us. And slowly but surely, we start to function differently. We hesitate more. We start to overthink. We pull back. We stop showing up and we stop being who we are. We not know ourselves no more. I hope I'm explaining myself good. So, problems in life, when it comes, it collapses us emotionally. It affects us even getting out of bed. Some people don't even want to get out of the bed. Some people don't want to bathe. Some people don't want to do anything based on what they are going through. The collapse affect our emotions, and it affect those issues that we have inside that we never dealt with. Then storms of life also now start to affect our body. And this is where it becomes real, because now your body start to respond. You feel tired all the time. You start to be drained. Your sleeping patterns changes. Your energy drops, and you think it's just stress, but it's deeper than that. Your body is carrying what your mind and emotions haven't processed as yet. That's why body, soul, and spirit, they're one. They're very connected. This is why we cannot ignore this, because you, I, all of us, we are one in three. Your body, your soul, and your also spirit. And when one is under pressure, everything feels it. Everything collapses. When your mind is overwhelmed, your emotions react and your body carries it. And if nothing interrupts that, you don't just go through the storm, you become affected by it internally. I like to say it, you become the storm that you're going through. And in my life, in my journey, I've been through many storms. You've been through many storms. And the issue is, many people are walking around and they became the storm. They became exactly what afflicted them. They became exactly what happened to them. We become someone completely different. That's why you can see somebody that is so loving, so caring. And after experiencing so much pain and hurt, they become the same loving person. Become now bitter, angry, don't trust, complete different individual. And storms are not made to change us. So now the question is, what many people ask, or let me put this, the question should not be, what did they do to me? What Johnny did to me, or what who did to me? The question really should be, when we're going through the storms, what did the storm reveal in me? What did the situation identify in me? Because most of us are focused just what happened to us, but not what it revealed into us. Because that collapse revealed things. That pain, that storm revealed a lot in me. So that's why I call this episode The Collapse That Revealed Me. It revealed who I was all along. And I get calls, people tell me, boy, and I cannot even continue reading. I'm crying, I'm this. And I say, no, please, please continue reading the book or continue watching my journey through life as I keep evolving. Because every storm that came to my life, it collapsed me, but it revealed exactly what is in me. It revealed things that I didn't want to face. It revealed what I needed validation, what I was always looking for validation. It revealed things that I feared, like being alone, being by myself, and nobody cares. The collapse, the pain, the storm, it revealed where I was performing all along instead of living, instead of being who I really was. So collapse issues, problems, they don't create issues in our life. They just expose who we really are. That's why alone time is very important. Spending time alone help us in our healing journey. And this is where many people run. Because when Everything collapsed around us. Everything that we were building, everything that we were pushing for, and everything collapsed. Could be the business, could be the marriage, everything come tumbling down. A betrayal of a friend, whatever it is. Because all of us go through things. And I hear many people, and I used to say that also, that, oh boy, you don't know, I've been through so much stuff. People say that all along, all the time. Sorry. We like to say that almost like it's a medal, a trophy to prove that I've been through a lot. But the question should not be what all you've been through. The question is what it made you. Did it make you a better person or did it make you a bitter person? Did it reveal all what God put in you? Did it reveal the areas that you needed to change, that you needed to evolve, that you needed to become? What did that issue made you? And a long time in my life, a very long time, for many years, I was stuck in the I've been through so much. I'm going through so much. The pain is so deep. The pain is so intense. Nobody understands. Until I found myself quiet and start to examine, becoming aware of what is it that I have inside of me that the storm make me feel, how it made me feel, the things that it trigger you. And like I said, this is the part that many people run. Because healing requires you to sit with yourself, not busy, not distracted, not performing, but honest. And to ask yourself, what did that trigger me? Why did that hurt me so deeply? What is it that I'm avoiding? Not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. Because the person that need to know yourself should be yourself. We all must be at a place that we can understand ourselves. What I mean by that, how do I feel about this? Why am I allowing this? Why am I accepting this? Why am I accepting disrespect? Why am I accepting people walk over me? Why am I accepting people scream and yell at me? Why is it I'm triggered when somebody say no? We must understand ourselves. And how do we understand ourselves? Is by being quiet with ourselves and understanding that wound that we have inside. What is it that a storm is revealing that we should heal? And this is the place where God met me. And this is the place where God should meet you too. Not to just remove the storm and stop it, because most of us will be praying, take it away, it hurts, I don't want to go through this, I'm not capable, I can't breathe, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, or whatever it is that the storm may make you feel that you're going through right now in your life. But the issue should not be to remove it, but to allow it to reveal what needs healing in you. Because God will use the storm to bring you into truth, meaning reveal you. What is in you that needs healing? What is in you that still need to come up, come out? Because He's not just fixing your situation, He wants to restore all of us and make us whole, body, soul, and spirit, healed. So let me show you something. Let's look at the sky. It's always blue. When we all look up, the sky is beautifully light blue. When it's a beautiful weather, of course. And it's always blue. As a matter of fact, right now it's night, about 7, 8 o'clock as you're watching this talk show. The sky is still the same beautiful light blue. Even right now at night, it doesn't change. While we're sleeping, it's blue. In the night, it's blue. Summer, winter, it's always blue. Because that's how God created the sky. It's blue. But when the storm comes, or when the night comes, when clouds gather, or when darkness appears, the sun turns, and the moon comes up, darkness appear. It looks like everything changed. When we look up now tonight, it seems like the sky is black, but the sky did not change. It still remained blue. So the storm didn't change the sky, it just covered it. And that's you. And that was me in our storm, in our hurricane season. Our identity did not change. Who we are didn't change. Our value did not change. Our purpose did not disappear. It was simply covered by the storm. That's just like the sky. It just covered. So how do we find growth and alignment? Storm comes, darkness comes, but we still must remain the blue, beautiful sky. We still must remain who we really are. The happy, jolly, loving, giving, whosoever, the great you, the one that God created. But we should not allow what happened to us change who we are. So here is where healing becomes intentional. Here's where breaking the cycle becomes intentional. Because we cannot stop the hurricane of coming, we cannot stop the storm of coming. They all will come to wash, uproot, to clean, to blow away, and do all kinds of stuff. But we still must remain who we are. So it starts with alignment. It starts with understanding ourselves. So we must all come to, and that's how I came about, understand what was my triggers. And I still have some triggers. Right now, even now as I speak, the level that I am in my journey right now, I realize that my emotions, even how I react, I must be always mindful that you just don't react out of panic. We must respond with wisdom, and we must respond based on where I'm going. Because we cannot stop situation of happening. We cannot stop life to happening, of lifing. But we must understand our triggers. And then we need to identify our patterns. And what is more important, we must confront our wounds. We must choose to grow deliberately, intentionally, and align our life not with just surviving the storm that is covering us that we cannot see, like the darkness, but we must align ourselves with our purpose. That's why I always tell young people, and I tell people all the time, a life without purpose, a life without knowing where you're going, like a roadmap, is very blurry. So you will be easily distracted and move and become emotional and stuck because you don't have nowhere to go. Because you cannot walk in purpose without, with, sorry, you cannot walk in purpose with a wounded soul, with a wounded identity. You cannot walk in purpose while you're still wounded by what happened in your past. It cannot, because you will look at everything through that lens of what happened to you. Because remember, you became that storm. I was rejected, so I became the rejection itself. So anybody that come too close to me, anything you do, just by looking too much, I might feel that you're about to reject me. And mind you, nothing happened yet. So if we don't heal, we will be looking through the lens of based on what happened to us. We become the storm. So we cannot walk in our great purpose with the great dreams that we all have that we want to achieve, business, school, academic, whatever it is that we want to do, while we are wounded by based on what happened in the past. Why do I say that? Because you will always find yourself triggered by issues of life. Things will always trigger you, always wound you. You will always feel the pain. Things will happen. So in my journey in life, many decisions I made was through that pain of abandonment. Maybe that person really don't care, or soon, very soon, they might reveal that the intention were not real. So my journey through my mother's choice to my destiny, how I was revealed, was to take time, spend time with myself. I said it very slowly. I had to take time to understand what are the thoughts that I am thinking all the time. I had to spend time on how do I feel about myself, not what people are saying, based on how they see me, how they perceive, if I'm strong, if I'm tall, if some people say I'm aggressive. People have all kinds of opinion. They will always have opinion. But what is it? And that's what I wrote in the book. What is it that make me me? What are the areas that have strength, I'm very strong at, I'm very good at? And I started to journal. Journal is very important. And I'm still journaling. I mean, all the time. I'm always writing what are my thoughts. Because when I write, it's almost like I'm speaking to myself. So I took time, and that's what I want you to do. I took time to find out what are the areas that I'm not good at, what I'm very weak at, what are the areas that I'm always failing at. I cannot, I can't do it. I'm always, and I'm talking about my emotions. I'm talking about how do I show up in life. I'm not talking about maths. I'm not talking about social studies. I'm not talking about typing, Microsoft Office. I'm talking about soft skills. I'm talking about emotional skills. I'm talking about emotion. Sorry, emotion management. How to manage my emotion. How to manage my thoughts. How to the emotional intelligence, that's the word I was looking for. How do i how do i have a conversation with someone without going quickly into defending myself and not understanding where they're coming from? What makes us human being? How do we relate with one another? How do I understand my partner? How do I understand my children? How do I speak to people to be able to express that they understand me? So I started to focus on the way I speak, the way I comprehend, the way I listen, the way I receive all that information in my body. So my book, I started to write about where I'm at and how God met me in that collapse. And I started to think and meditate and understand, and that's what I want you to understand. What are the thoughts or what are the things that you believe will break you? And the more I start to think about these thoughts, I started to understand myself, and myself was revealed. So my collapse, my problems, my issue, all what happened to me, it didn't end me. It was a introduction to who Anne really was. So if you are in that place right now, you should not run from it or ignore it or just survive it, but let it reveal you. Let it heal you. Let God rebuild you correctly this time. So spending time with yourself is extremely important. I tell people all the time, people often say that, we become who we associate ourselves with. Tell me who you surround yourself with, you become. Because indeed, environment can have a great influence on where you're going to be. But all who you are is already inside of you. And God is a God that is very intentional. He doesn't make mistake. Everything he taught very strategic. And when I tell you strategic, it's very strategic because I was born in St. Martin and I grew up in Curacao and I'm back in St. Martin. And when I look on how my journey went through life, how it took me and then brought me back right here, and my collapse came right here, and right here is where he took his time to build me back up. It shows you that God is very strategic. But he cannot heal what we keep on hiding and oppressing. He cannot heal what we are not willing to confront. So, in my journey of my mother's choice, my destiny, I had to take time to confront my deepest fear, things that nobody knew. When they look at me from the outside, they see me very strong and that Anne can do anything and achieve anything. But I had deepest fear, very deep inner fears that it looks like I'm building publicly, but privately, I was collapsing and breaking. And that's very deep. Because many people are like that outside there today, even you watching me, that, we show up just for, I won't say a facade, because it is a season that we all must go through to be able to find us. And I was talking to a young lady someday there, and she was explaining about the deep storm that she going through, that dark season in her life that she believed that, and that's it, I can't make it, it's over, I can't breathe, the pain is too deep, it is so much, the betrayal, all kinds of stuff. And I said, baby girl, listen, could it be that this storm is really to heal what is in you? Because we focus so much on the person that hurt us or the situation that was created that afflicted us so deep. But the truth of the matter is, if we stop and start to pinpoint the issues that we have deep inside and start to heal from it, I'm telling you, I can guarantee you, and I can tell you from myself, issues that I've been through in life years ago and through my journey of healing to reach where I'm at today, some things can happen to me now. I mean, like now, today's, I don't know what day is today, it's May 2026. I will not react to it the same way as I did maybe 10 years ago. I will not collapse like how I used to be 10 years ago. And it's not that I became numb and I became immortal. I'm still human, still have emotion. And it's not that I'm a super spiritual person that, I can do things and, I'm God on earth. No. If we deal with the wounds that we carry deep in our soul, the pains that we carry deep in our soul, and we heal from it, and we look at it as a stepping stone to make us get stronger and become that person that God wants us to be. And we allow that pain to transform us to that great, strong, emotional, full of self-control person. We go through journey differently. As I spoke a while ago about the blue sky, if we start to look at our life, even tonight, as that blue sky, and we will start to understand that the cloud is just a passing cloud. And tomorrow, the cloud will disappear. It will stop covering us, and we become again, become no, because we are the same blue sky. We will start to see the blue sky again. We will look at journey and storm differently. When we start to look even at the dynamics of a hurricane self, Irma is a perfect example. When Irma hit the Caribbean, hit St. Martin, and we can see some life of some people, because of Irma, they got better. And some people, because of Irma, they got worse. And you will ask yourself, how could that be? It's the same storm, it's the same Irma, the same speed. What is the difference between Johnny B and Johnny A? Storm should be able to show us the full potential that we have and what we can make out of lime and make lemonade, like they say. We should be able to take it and watch what we have in our hand heal and make us stronger and make something good out of it. And not let it make us a bitter person. So, what I'm trying to talk to you before we close tonight, problems come, the collapse will come, and every situation that you've been through, that I've been through, all of it is part of the journey of your life, our life. I had to take time and allow all the collapse and all those stuff that happened to me in my life to teach me that, and you had severe fear. Your dependence was more on man than on God. You see yourself so inferior, but yet you show up in a room like you're not. But deep inside, you felt tiny, weeny, 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 weeny. So every problem that faced me made me feel that I should shrink more until I took the time to say, but wait a minute, I'm not small. I'm not small. I'm bigger than that. I should not be afraid. I should thrive in this. And to go a little deeper, the journey of healing, of being alone, to find yourself and understand yourself, it can only go through the time alone, like I said, but not only alone, alone with the Word of God. And I need to say that because most people believe we can stand on our own, and it's almost not possible. Because being alone with yourself and being and spending time with the Word of God made me understand that exactly what I said a while ago. I should not be afraid if I trust in God. I am not tiny, weeny, 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 as I mentioned a while ago, but I'm great in God. And I had to spend time alone with myself with the Word of God, which is very important. And that was the moment when my collapse met Christ. That's the moment that I had to find myself and stop doubting. I started to make decisions through the Word of God, and I started to find direction through God. I started to find myself and understand myself and see myself based on how God sees me. I started to change my thought pattern and think on the way God sees me. And I call it a defining moment. That moment that if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't make it. And even today, many people do ask me still, and how did I reach where I'm at today? And I'm still reaching. And I tell people that it's not that I am a superwoman, hero, special kind with some, I don't even know, some powers that I don't even know what we can say. It's a simple person that, and that's the reason I call myself Simply Ann, for those that didn't know, simply understanding that grace, God's grace, was all what I needed. Because God's grace showed up in areas that if it didn't show up, I wouldn't make it. And I'm not a religious person. I'm a kingdom-minded person. What do I mean with that? I start to understand the Bible speaks about a different way of thinking, a different way of reasoning. And by reading the Word of God and starting to think on how I see myself, I started to realize the issue that I have and that many people have today, especially young people out there. Now we're in the season of carnival, I see that many men and women, humankind, human being, us, human being, do not see ourselves as great being. What do I mean with that? Because the moment you start to see yourself as a great human being, you start to see yourself and compare yourself with that great God that created you to do great things. You show up differently. You show up different in a different room. You see yourself different. You start to get your value from the things of God. And you will start to manifest what God said you should manifest. If you understand what I'm saying. That's why body, soul, and spirit need to be together. Because with our body, we show up exactly and display exactly what we have inside. And I have respect to everyone's opinion. But what I always tell, and I tell my daughters and all the time, make sure that you have high integrity to yourself. First, not like the masses, but to be able to remove all busyness, distraction, and start to be honest with yourself. So, as I was mentioning, my journey in my mother's choice, my destiny, my greatest revelation was that God met me. And He met me not to expose me, but He met me to show me that there's great destiny and purpose within me. And the powerful thing that is in this book, in my journey, God showed me that every storm that I've been through in my life was to reveal the broken me, not to expose who hurt me, but to reveal the broken Anne, the cycles that Anne had to break in her life to be able to be restored and whole, and to be able now to have a platform to be able to heal others. So, the revelation I want you to have of this episode today, that the collapse that you are going through, the storm that you are going through, that you have to remember that the sky remains blue at all times. You should remain you at all times and not change because of the storm and become the storm. But you must allow the storm to reveal what is broken in you so you can find healing. And the healing, you can find it only by comparing yourself. Yeah, using a comparison of your truth, your broken truth, the comparison of your broken truth with the Word of God. So the books are available. You can contact me on any platform at my office, and they are also available on Amazon. My Mother's Choice, My Destiny. It talks about a broken beginning, a collapse, and then a restored soul with now a commission to heal. Share this episode. It talks about a collapse that should reveal the real you, and so that you can become the best you, the best version of yourself, and break every cycle in your life. Until next time, keep on standing, keep on believing, and keep on healing and breaking cycles. Till this time, keep on standing. Simply Ann, logging out. See you next week, Tuesday, same time, same place.